The night air felt electric as Emma stood frozen on her balcony, the words hanging between them like a dangerous promise. How had a simple borrowed cup of sugar led to this moment? If you're enjoying this journey into the complicated world of Emma and Daniel, please like this video and subscribe to catch the rest of our original stories that explore the messy reality of human emotions. Emma never expected her life to change the night her new neighbor knocked on her door at 11 p.m. But some encounters rewrite your entire story in an instant. The knock startled Emma from her late-night writing session. 3 rapid taps, hesitant but determined. She wasn't expecting anyone, especially not at this hour. "Just a second," she called, quickly running fingers through her disheveled hair before opening the door. The man standing there wasn't entirely a stranger. She'd seen him moving boxes into the apartment across the hall a few weeks ago, tall with kind eyes and a distracted smile. They'd exchanged nods in the hallway but never words. "Hi, I'm so sorry to bother you this late," he said, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. "I'm Daniel from across the hall. I'm in the middle of baking something and realized I'm out of sugar. I was hoping that your neighbor might save your midnight baking crisis." Emma finished for him, surprising herself with her boldness. His laugh was warm and genuine. "Exactly. I promise I'm not usually this disorganized. No judgment here. Come in while I grab some sugar." Emma stepped back, allowing him into her apartment. The intimacy of allowing a near stranger into her space at night wasn't lost on her. Daniel's eyes swept across her living room, bookshelves crammed with novels, a laptop open on the coffee table, a half-empty glass of wine beside it. "Are you a writer?" he asked, nodding toward her computer. "Trying to be," Emma admitted. 3 years working on a novel that refuses to end properly. "What's it about?" "People who can't seem to find the right timing," she said, measuring sugar into a container. "What are you baking at this hour anyway?" "My daughter's birthday is tomorrow. I have her for the weekend, and I promised homemade cookies for her breakfast. It's our tradition." Emma felt something shift in her perception. "You have a daughter?" "Lily. She's turning 8. His smile softened as he spoke about his daughter. Then he gestured to his left hand, where a wedding band caught the light. "I'm separated. 6 months now. Still wearing this out of habit, I guess." The clarification hung in the air between them. "Here's your sugar," Emma said, handing him the container. "Good luck with those cookies." "Thanks. Maybe I could repay you with a few once they're done." "I'd like that," she said, and meant it. Over the following weeks, Emma and Daniel developed the easy rhythm of neighbors sliding toward friendship. He would bring her cookies, she would lend him books. They'd chat in the hallway about their days. He'd tell stories about Lily's weekend visits, she'd share small victories from her writing. They existed in a comfortable space between strangers and something more, neither pushing beyond the invisible boundary both sensed. Emma learned that Daniel's marriage had ended when his wife fell in love with someone else. "The irony is, I was so focused on being a good provider that I forgot to be a good husband," he'd admitted one evening as they shared takeout on her balcony. "By the time I realized what was happening, she was already gone." Emma understood loss. Her own 5-year relationship had ended the previous year when her partner decided he wasn't ready for the commitment she wanted. "The worst part isn't even being alone," she told Daniel. "It's that feeling of having built something meaningful that just evaporates." These conversations wove a connection between them, delicate threads of understanding and shared experience. Summer arrived, bringing with it heat that lingered well into the evening. Emma had just returned from a disappointing meeting with a literary agent when she found Daniel sitting outside his apartment door. "Everything okay?" she asked, dropping her bag. "Locked myself out," he explained, looking embarrassed. "Superintendent won't be back for hours." "You can wait at my place," she offered without hesitation. Inside her apartment, the air conditioning provided blessed relief from the heat. Emma kicked off her shoes and headed to the kitchen. Beer? God, yes, Daniel sighed, collapsing onto her couch. Rough day? Agent passed on my manuscript. Said it was beautifully written but not commercially viable. She tried to sound casual but couldn't quite hide the hurt. Daniel accepted the beer but set it down, his attention fully on her. I'm sorry, Em. That's their loss. It's fine. Just part of the process. She shrugged, the dismissive gesture at odds with the heaviness in her chest. No, it's not fine, Daniel said quietly. It's okay to be disappointed. Your work matters. Emma felt the careful walls she'd built beginning to crack. No one had validated her disappointment like this before, simply acknowledging it without rushing to fix it. Thank you, she whispered, eyes suddenly damp. Daniel moved toward her then, nothing presumptuous in his approach, just a friend offering comfort. His arms around her felt safe, the embrace of someone who understood that sometimes words weren't needed. She didn't mean to look up at him. She didn't mean for their faces to be so close. She certainly didn't mean for her gaze to drop to his mouth. The moment hung suspended between them, possibility crackling like electricity. Daniel stepped back first, clearing his throat. I should probably call the super again. And just like that, the moment passed, the boundary restored. Lily's summer visit stretched to 3 weeks, and Emma found herself included in their outings, trips to the park, movie nights, and ice cream adventures. The little girl was perceptive and funny, with her father's kind eyes and an infectious laugh. Do you like my dad? Lily asked one afternoon while Daniel was getting them ice cream. Emma nearly choked on her water. Of course I like your dad. He's my friend. My mom has a boyfriend now. She says dad should find someone too. It's not always that simple, sweetie, Emma said carefully. Why not? You make him happy. I can tell. Before Emma could formulate a response, Daniel returned with ice cream cones, saving her from having to explain the complexities of adult relationships to a now 8-year-old. That night, alone in her apartment, Emma faced the truth she'd been avoiding: she was falling for Daniel. A man still technically married, still wearing his wedding ring, still navigating the aftermath of his broken marriage. This isn't who I am, she thought. I don't complicate already complicated situations. She decided to create some distance between them. Just until her feelings settled into something more appropriate for their friendship. For 2 weeks, Emma managed to avoid more than passing interactions with Daniel. She made excuses about deadlines and meetings, kept conversations brief in the hallway, and declined invitations for dinner or movies. Then came the night of the summer blackout. A transformer blew, plunging their entire neighborhood into darkness. Emma was writing by candlelight when her doorbell rang. Daniel stood there, flashlight in hand. Just checking that you're okay. Do you have candles? I'm fine, she said, not inviting him in. Plenty of candles. Thanks for checking. He nodded, looking uncertain. Is everything all right, Emma? You've seemed distant lately. Just busy. The new manuscript isn't going to write itself. Right. He hesitated. I miss our talks. The simple honesty of his statement caught her off guard. Daniel. It's okay if you need space. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something I did. Emma sighed. It's not you. It's me being cautious. About what? The darkness somehow made it easier to be honest. About crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed. Understanding dawned in his eyes. Emma, I would never expect. I know, she interrupted. But expectations aren't the only thing that create complications. The hallway fell silent except for the distant sounds of neighbors moving about with flashlights and candles. Come to the rooftop, Daniel said suddenly. Everyone's gathering there. It'll be cooler than staying in our apartments, and the stars should be amazing with the power out. Emma hesitated, then nodded. Let me grab a few things. The rooftop was transformed. Neighbors had brought up blankets, battery-operated lanterns, coolers with drinks, and portable speakers playing soft music. Against the backdrop of a darkened city, it felt magical. Emma and Daniel found a quiet corner away from the impromptu party. They sat side by side, looking out at the unusual sight of a Manhattan skyline without its characteristic glow. It's beautiful, in a strange way, Emma said. You forget how many stars are up there until all our artificial light is gone. Daniel was quiet for a moment. I filed the divorce papers last week. Emma turned to look at him, surprised. It was time, he continued. We've been separated for almost a year now. Holding on to something that's already ended doesn't honor what we had or allow either of us to move forward. How do you feel about it? She asked. Sad. Relieved. Scared. He looked at her then. Hopeful. The word hung between them, full of unspoken meaning. Daniel, You don't need to say anything, he interrupted gently. I'm not expecting anything from you, Emma. I just wanted you to know where things stand. Where I stand. Emma nodded, grateful for his understanding. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars and listening to the distant laughter of their neighbors. Later, as they were heading back to their apartments, Daniel walked her to her door. Thank you for tonight, Emma said. It was nice to talk again. It was, he agreed. Friends? Friends, she confirmed, but the word felt insufficient for the complex emotions between them. As she turned to unlock her door, Daniel spoke again. Emma? She looked back at him. When I'm ready, truly ready, would you be open to exploring what this could be? What we could be? The question was honest, direct, and without pressure. When you're ready, she said softly, ask me again. His smile was worth the wait she knew was ahead. Months passed. Fall arrived with its crisp air and changing colors. Daniel's divorce was finalized. He stopped wearing his wedding ring. He and Emma maintained their friendship, careful not to rush into something neither was fully ready for. They had dinner once a week. Watched movies. Took Lily to the park when she visited. They talked about everything and nothing, building a foundation of trust and understanding that went beyond physical attraction. Emma finished her novel, finding the ending that had eluded her for so long, a story about second chances and the courage to embrace them when they appear. On a clear November evening, Daniel invited Emma to dinner at his apartment. He had cooked her favorite meal and set the table with care. What's the occasion? Emma asked, touched by his effort. No occasion. Just wanted to do something nice for you. They ate and talked, falling into the comfortable rhythm they'd established over the months. After dinner, Daniel suggested they sit on his small balcony with glasses of wine. The night was unusually warm for November, a last gift before winter settled in. City lights sparkled around them, and somewhere in a nearby apartment, someone was playing gentle piano music. I've been thinking, Daniel said after a comfortable silence. Always dangerous, Emma teased. He smiled. I've been thinking about timing, and readiness, and all those things we tell ourselves we need to have perfectly aligned before we can move forward. Emma set down her wine glass, suddenly very aware of where this conversation might be heading. And I've realized something, he continued. There's never a perfect time. There's just now, and the choices we make. Daniel. He took her hand. I'm ready, Emma. Not because everything in my life is perfectly sorted, it isn't. But because I know, with absolute certainty, that I want you in my life as more than just my friend and neighbor. Emma felt her heart racing. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything, he said. The question is, are you? Emma thought about the past year, the slow build of their friendship, the careful navigation of complicated feelings, the space they'd given each other to heal and grow. "I am," she said finally. "I think I have been for a while." Daniel's smile was radiant as he leaned toward her. Their first kiss was gentle, a promise rather than a demand, sweet with the taste of wine and possibility. When they broke apart, Emma rested her forehead against his. "We should take this slow," she whispered. "We've been taking it slow for a year," Daniel laughed softly. "But yes, we'll move at whatever pace feels right." Their relationship evolved naturally from the strong foundation of friendship they'd built. There were adjustments, of course. Lily had questions that needed thoughtful answers. Friends and family had opinions about their timing. But through it all, they remained certain of each other. On their one-year anniversary, Daniel took Emma back to the rooftop where they'd watched the stars during the blackout. He'd arranged for string lights and a small table for two, with dinner from their favorite restaurant. "This is beautiful," Emma said, taking in the romantic setting. "Almost as beautiful as you," Daniel replied, pulling out her chair. They talked and laughed through dinner, reminiscing about their journey from neighbors to friends to lovers. As they finished dessert, Daniel reached across the table for her hand. "Do you remember that night during the blackout, when you told me to ask you again when I was ready?" Emma nodded, her heart suddenly racing. Daniel stood and moved to her side of the table, then knelt beside her chair. "Emma Mitchell, I'm not just ready to be with you, I'm ready to build a life with you. Will you marry me?" Emma looked at this man who had become everything to her, friend, confidant, partner, and saw their future stretching before them. "Yes," she whispered, tears blurring her vision. "Yes, I'll marry you." As he slipped the ring onto her finger and pulled her into his embrace, Emma thought about the winding path that had led them here. How sometimes the most beautiful journeys weren't straight lines but complex routes filled with detours and waiting periods and moments of doubt. And how, sometimes, the hardest waits led to the most perfect arrivals. Their wedding was small and intimate, just family and close friends gathered in a garden at the height of spring. Lily served as flower girl, beaming with pride as she scattered rose petals along the path. Emma's novel was published a month before the wedding, dedicated to D, who taught me that the most meaningful stories aren't about perfect timing, but perfect heart. As they spoke their vows beneath an arch of flowers, Emma thought about that night years ago when a knock at her door had changed everything. How a borrowed cup of sugar had somehow led to this moment of profound joy. "I promise to love you through all seasons," Daniel said, his voice steady and sure. "To be your partner in all things, to build our life with patience and kindness and unwavering devotion." "I promise to cherish every day we create together," Emma responded. "To remember that love isn't just in the grand gestures but in the quiet moments of understanding. To always find my way back to you, no matter what challenges we face." When they kissed as husband and wife, the applause of their loved ones surrounded them like a blessing. At the reception, Daniel pulled Emma onto the dance floor for their first dance. As they swayed to the music, he whispered in her ear, "Thank you for waiting until I was ready." "Thank you for becoming ready," she replied, resting her head against his shoulder. And in that moment, Emma understood that love wasn't about perfect people finding each other at perfect times. It was about imperfect people choosing each other deliberately, with eyes wide open to both the beauty and the challenges ahead. It was about two people who had experienced loss and disappointment finding the courage to believe in second chances. About building something new from the lessons of the past rather than in spite of them. As they danced beneath the stars, surrounded by those who loved them, Emma and Daniel had no illusions about the work that love required. But they faced their future together with hope, gratitude, and the quiet certainty that comes from choosing each other, not just once in a grand moment, but every day in 1,000 small ways. Because the most profound love stories aren't just about falling in love, but about staying there, deliberately and joyfully, through all the chapters yet to be written. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more original stories that explore the complex beauty of human relationships. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a relationship that came at an unexpected time? How did you navigate the complicated emotions?